The capacity to size men up quickly and know what sort they are is very important. The administrator should have this special talent, or he should entrust that particular job to someone else and accept his judgments without question. When a decision is reached and it has to be executed, the administrator should bring into being a sense of social purpose among his staff of all ranks. Whatever major decision is reached, and whenever a particular piece of work has to be executed, he should see to it that his men see what it is for and realize that it is a good and laudable purpose. They should be made to feel that it would be a service to society to bring it about. There is an oft repeated story that brings this out. I shall give it an adapted form, giving it a local and contemporary color. Someone saw stonecutters at work in Gindi Raj Bhavan at Madras, and he asked one of them, "What are you doing?" He replied, "I am cutting stone. Don't you see?" "What are you doing?" he asked the second man. His reply was, "Sir, I am a poor man earning my living." To the same question, a third man answered, "Sir, I am chiseling a Buddha image." A fourth man replied, "Sir, we are building the Gandhi Mandapam to serve as a holy center for prayer." It is this last man's feeling that must be infused among all those who have to carry out anything decided upon. 100 years ago, officials in Britain were incompetent, ignorant, and frequently corrupt. Today, they are efficient, well informed, and of high integrity. I have taken this from a British Council publication. In our country too, we can hope for an ideal set of officials, provided democratic politics and communal politics allow and do not block progress and impartiality. The authority of Parliament or the state legislature must be and is supreme, but it would be frustrating the aim of democracy to let the influence of political or social groups functioning in the legislature or outside to affect recruitment or promotion in the services. In emancipated India, it was the hope that politicians who were born in revolution and civil disobedience should soon learn to become administrators. But this process has been slow. Instead, at the other end, administrators are perhaps tending to become politicians, which is very bad. I have omitted a great deal that should have been said on this subject. I have repeated what many others have said before this, because The problem I have dealt with is a very old one. What I have said applies not only to ministers and administrators in government, but to administrators in all big non-official organizations, be it of industry or distribution or transport or other services. The days of big business may be thought to be over on account of the Congress resolution as to the pattern of society that Congress wants to build up, but in reality it is not the same. It is really not the case. Big organizations are still wanted and will continue. High taxation and low net profits are no doubt elements deterrent to private enterprise. But though profits no longer accrue on the wartime scale, and though taxation is growing heavier and heavier with each budget, big business has its attractions still. As long as talent exists, there is a vocational call for big business to which men cannot say nay. Profit or no profit, taxation or no taxation. Big business is that. In that sense, has an undying future. Human nature has a mysterious quality in it. Self-interest and profits attract, but man is led by a master within who is all-powerful and cares not for calculations. Big men will continue doing big things because they cannot help it. Good administration is a common problem for private enterprise as well as for the welfare state. To the fundamental requirement of character, I made a brief reference, but did not dwell upon it because it must be presumed. It is true, as I said, that it alone is by no means enough, but without it, let it be remembered, nothing else will avail. It is like daylight, which we are not apt to forget on account of its very importance. Character is as important for administrator at every level, from the chief secretary down to the last grade servant, as sunlight is to every form of life. With a renewed tribute to the memory of the great man who was taken away from us before we could well dispense with his services, and in whose inspiring name these annual lectures will be delivered, I close my inaugural talk. I thank you for the patience and attention with which you heard me. That was Rajaji for you. Thank you.